Well, hello, my sweet, beautiful people, and welcome back to the channel. You know the deal by now. It's time for another season with the Goons, as we have. I'm kind of waiting, actually, for the day that YouTube decides that's... Well, then again, I swear in these videos anyway, so I was going to say, like, oh, inappropriate content. We're going to flag the video for saying the term Goon. It's in a hockey context. Google, get it together. Anyway, you get a look at this team. Again, team's pretty good, right? We kind of talked about that a lot. We have our star players. Draft-wise, we're kind of struggling to fill out the rest of it, but I would like to think this is our very first playoff team with this particular setup that we have. Time will tell on that front. We are about to get down to business here. Now, the funny thing is, I've been using these videos to kind of give my thoughts on what's been happening in the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs as they have been ongoing, right? And last time out, we just signed a couple goalie coaches. Last time out, I got to talk about, hey, the conference finals are done, and that's, a rematch. Florida, Edmonton, it's going to be nuts. And, my thoughts on that series are still pretty much my thoughts on that series, right? Like, it is going to be a very entertaining series. Funny enough, one of the things I've been asked about the most is, okay, who are you rooting for? Come on now, you got to be honest. You got to pick one. And I think overall, man, I'm siding with Edmonton on this. And it's for one particular reason now, right? Because there are multiple reasons I could find to root for one team over another. Like, I think Bill Zito's the best general manager in the NHL. I think it'd be really cool for a team in Florida to win back-to-back Stanley Cups when we are less than a decade removed from repeated calls to move the team. I got to be honest with you, we were seeing repeated calls for that 5 years ago. As little as 5 years ago, people were like, oh, move the Florida Panthers, especially around the time that COVID was starting up, in terms of the shutdowns and everything. And there was a lot of concern about, okay, what are some of these other teams going to be able to do? The teams that, don't have a lot of money, how negatively affected are they going to be? Like, seriously, we are 5 years removed, not potentially not even dating back to 2021. But we're like 5 years removed, not 10, not 15, not 20, 5 years removed from this team being repeatedly hounded to move the team, Gary. Come on, give up on the Florida thing. You have Tampa, at least move the team. Moving to Quebec, moving to Kansas City, Houston, wherever the hell. And now here they are after, again, all of those years, aside from 1996, going to the Stanley Cup final and ultimately losing to Colorado. Outside of that year, it was just struggle bus, couple of playoff appearances here and there. And the fact that they've, in the past 2 years, won more series than they had in their entire franchise's history is insane. And the fact that they could very well win back-to-back Stanley Cups is absolutely insane. It's commendable, and it's the coolest way for that organization to just flip the double bird towards the hockey world and being like, you thought we couldn't make it work here. Well, we made it work here. And rightfully so. Even if then Paul Maurice will want to skip the handshake line of people trying to congratulate the Panthers on finally making it work, right? But then there's Edmonton, and it's like, oh, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. There's some good stories on the Edmonton Oilers, and I talked about, some of those stories as well. I mean, Jeff Skinner, a bunch of these guys where it is just really kind of, in some ways, a ragtag group of, like, it's a franchise mode roster, really, if you look at it. I think that's the best comparison I can make. Like, of course, this team that just randomly has Kasperi Kapanen, who they picked up on waivers earlier in the season. Arvidsson, Janmark, Polk-Colson? Isn't he cooked? Apparently not. Like, he's been a good contributor there. Getting Jake Wallman and everything like that. Like, there's some really good stories on Edmonton. And then obviously the idea of, the best player in the world winning his first Stanley Cup would be great. I'm not a fan of Alexander Ovechkin for a variety of reasons, but was it still nice as a hockey fan to see him win a Stanley Cup? Yes, because it was good for the league. It is always good for league health when your star players ultimately win championships, right? You don't want that list of great to have a bunch of non-championship winners on it, especially when sports culture has shifted so much in the last 25 years to ring culture. It's about how many championships have you won. Individual accolades are nice, but, and I think the NBA and the NFL especially are kind of the reason behind this. It's about how many championships you've won. And so Connor McDavid winning one would be great. And, you want to say like, well, even if he doesn't win it here, he'll still have plenty of time, but you just never know. You really never know. So many things could happen. I think the hockey world had seen that with Sidney Crosby. Now, granted, he had won a cup in 2009, but had he not, say they lost to Detroit in 08, that being Pittsburgh, they don't make it back in 09 for the rematch, and all of a sudden Sidney Crosby has that Winter Classic concussion, and who knows, right? Maybe his career is never the same. Maybe he never wins one, let alone winning back-to-back cups with Pittsburgh, right, in the mid-2010s. It's just one of those things where you never know. So, McDavid back-to-back cup finals, it would be nice to see him win. But ultimately, all of this is to say that I know who I'm rooting for. And it's for one particular reason, beyond anything that I have mentioned. And it is kind of tied into the Four Nations face-off. And the trend of American hockey fans, particularly in the southern states, whether it be Texas or Florida, in this instance Florida, chanting USA when their team is winning over a Canadian team. That might be the biggest pet peeve of mine, because my God, don't you look so foolish. You look ridiculous if you're taking part in a chant like that. Because, of course, let's use the Florida Panthers as an example, right? Like, you look at that team and, where's Sam Bennett from? Where's Aaron Ekblad from? Jonah Gadjevich, AJ Greer, Sam Reinhart, Evan Rodriguez, Carter Verhaeghe, Brad Marchand. Like, you just look so freaking stupid. You really do. And, for that reason, I am going to be rooting for the Edmonton Oilers in this series, because those type of people being unhappy makes me very happy, as petty as that is. So let's go Oilers in the Stanley Cup final, and we'll see if the Tukey Jinx is alive and well. Now, we're in an interesting scenario here with 2 games to go. We actually have a really good record, and it still might not be enough to make the playoffs. We need to take a look here really, really quickly. I mean, we're 10 points back of Kansas City, which is a shame. They only have 3 more wins, but obviously we have an extra couple of losses and an overtime loss. So if we take a look at the National League right now, it's not looking too good. Colorado, Kansas City. Okay, nobody's super far down there, thankfully. But it's Colorado and Kansas City. And then for the 4 wild card teams, it's Utah, Buffalo, and Honolulu, which actually means we got Kansas City, Buffalo, Colorado, and Honolulu is a division leader right now. So it takes 76 points. We are on 71. But remember, it is 3 points for a win in regulation. So we're not out of it yet mathematically. But given that we are directly playing the Utah Yeti, this is the closest thing we have had to a playoff game so far, and it's not even close. If we win this one in regulation, we have a great chance of making the playoffs. If we lose this one, GG's on the season. As we get a look at the team, and again, that top line, outstanding. I mean, Walters is almost a goal per game. Liam Pugh, 40 assists. Lundberg looking good. Belchitz has 30 goals on the second line. Even Shannon Butler, 13 goals. That's not bad. Damian Carson has 21. Makes me wonder if we should bump up Carson or if we just shouldn't change anything at all. I probably won't change anything. I think we'll just leave it as is. 15 points for Wotherspoon. 32 assists for Maloney. Dowell's still good at putting up points. And then, of course, in goal, Buckley, 899, Harnstam, 830, or 873, excuse me. So, God, 837 would be awful. We're going to be hoping that Buckley's in for this one. Let's slow sim this again. It is a playoff game. For all intents and purposes here, we need a regulation win if we want to put up a good fight. Biondi and Matthew Tkachuk. Speaking of the Florida Panthers, well, there's the jinx. I jinxed myself, as it turns out. Second period, make it 5-0, and that is as clear-cut a smack in the face as you can get to say, sorry, fellas, you're not ready yet. Their goalie, Jacob Fowler, did have a 32-save shutout, but that's going to seal the deal. And indeed, we are going to just miss out on the playoffs, which is a disaster for all the reasons that we talked about last episode. Making, the most of, finishing lower in the standings. Like, the higher up we are without making the playoffs, it's worst case scenario easily. So no playoffs for us this year. Let's take a look at how it played out. Again, the team's still looking good. But the Kansas City Scouts, the only team to make it from our division. It was a decently competitive division. Out of the East, the Toronto Warriors made it on tiebreaker over the Buffalo Sabres at the very end to be the only team from the East to make it. Central Division, 3 teams, man. Colorado and both Utah clubs, as they just beat down on a team like the Houston Apollos, unfortunately. And then the West Division, the Honolulu Huskies by 1 point over the Oakland Seals in a competitive division, but not a particularly strong division, I would say. For the Misfits, the Florida Panthers have made it. The Peg City Penny Pinchers have also made the postseason. In the East, it's the Hartford Bambies and the Toronto Scepters. Central Division, the Arizona Coyotes on tiebreaker over the Houston Sharpshooters. And in the West, the San Francisco Starfleet. So we are definitely seeing some pretty consistent teams making the playoffs. And the Toronto Warriors, and I imagine Honolulu will be further down here. Yeah, they are. You can see. We finished 20th in a 48-team league. Goal scoring looked to be good. It's not enough, though. It's not enough. If you take a look at the forwards, Pete Walters was outstanding. Again, second overall. In 2027, he's been here for a while now. Belchitz, Pugh, Lindbergh, all of these guys were great. Pekka Salonen was also fantastic. Carson was really good, too. He shot 22%. I can't imagine that is sustainable for him. But yeah, some of the depth, not able to do a ton. It wasn't too bad, though. Defensively, Maloney was really good. Dowell and Kolamainen, not bad. But the goaltending. And that's going to continue to be the struggle, right? Like, the league is set up so that goaltenders aren't necessarily going to succeed. And that was yet again the case this season. Felix and the Florida Panthers continue to dominate. Austin Matthews was up there for the Starfleet. You had Vesey up there as well. Cedric Corey, of course, for Colorado. And then Draisaitl, McKinnon, and Bedard were up there too. In terms of the goal scorers, Pox, Matthews, Vesey, Corey, usual suspects. In terms of the defense, Cale Makar, the most points. Surprised our option Maloney wasn't quite up there yet, but maybe someday, especially if some of these guys start retiring. Chelios is finally up to 36 years old, so he might not be around too much longer. Jesper Wallstead, the winningest goalie in the league for the Bambies. And there you get a look at the save percentages, right? Anything over a 910 is unbelievable. And Thatcher Demko was at a 921. Matty Rooney was up there as well. So just kind of gives you an idea of what we would need to get out of our goalies, as Karel Malik is going to win the Calder Trophy this year unless it somehow goes to Logan Lutzer, which I don't know if it will. So to the draft we go. Pretty straightforward. No playoffs for us, even though, we were close. That is the closest we have been thus far. While we simulate through the playoffs, I actually had one more thing to mention about the Stanley Cup playoffs, even though the Cup final has yet to start. Time of recording, hey, it starts tonight, so that's going to be fun. And that is, I talked about Dallas and Edmonton. But what I did not do was talk about Peter DeBoer. And I didn't talk about Pete DeBoer because I genuinely thought there was a chance he would have been fired by the time I recorded the next episode. And the fact that he hasn't been fired by the Dallas Stars is insanity to me. He consistently struggles to get back, past the conference finals, obviously. And my God, I mean, did he throw Jake Ottinger under the bus? It is genuinely astonishing to me that the Dallas Stars have not fired that man. Can't believe it. Cannot believe it. Your Stanley Cup final this year, the San Francisco Starfleet and the Utah Yeti. San Francisco, the 3 seed, goes through Toronto, the defending champions in Florida, and the Hartford Bambies on an 8-4 aggregate. And, of course, Utah making it past Honolulu, Kansas City, and then Colorado, where they scored 12 goals in 2 games. And unless my eyes are deceiving me, that was the highest scoring round of any series. Getting those 12 goals over the 2 games, especially against the number 1 seed, is crazy. So let's see. Will it be the Mammoth? I think I said the Yetis before. It is the Utah Mammoth winning the Stanley Cup this year. So there you go. I mean, again, the branding looks good. It's accurate as they win that championship game 5-2 in the Super Bowl of hockey. And let's take a look at how things went for the Mammoth. Let's see what that roster kind of looks like. Andy Pusher, a 20-year-old first overall pick 2 years ago for the Mammoth. That's crazy. 2 years later after getting a first overall pick, and he's leading the way on a Stanley Cup winning roster. They have Claire Dalton, Philip Beestead, Rob Hall is there as well, Zach Benson. Who do they have in goal? William Lassell with Nick Kemp, who was one of the better backups in the league this year. I remember seeing his name up there when we sorted by save percentage. So there you go, Florida. I mean, again, 2 wins in the past 5 years now. It was 2-4, but the Utah Mammoth are on the board in terms of championships. Felix Pox wins his second Art Ross in the past 4 seasons. Also wins his second Hart Trophy in that amount of time. The Norris, 3 times in the last 5 years, and now back-to-back for Cale Makar. The Bing goes to Pox. Calder does go to Malik, rightfully so. Conn Smythe to Pusher, rightfully so. Vezina to Bethia. You know, I run into names every once in a while where I'm like, what the hell is going on there? Pascal Realm. Jennings Trophy to Matty Rooney. Drew Hellison won the Masterton. Colorado's coach wins the Jack Adams. Taylor Heisey wins the Selke. Felix Pox, the Ted Lindsay Award. And the Rocket Richard. Do we have any familiar winners in the AHL? Not that I know of. Kevin Lankinen, goalie of the year. And Olsen. That's like Brett Olsen. I don't know. Olsen, the MVP of the Calder Cup playoffs. So, gotta be honest, disappointing season. I really did think we were gonna make the playoffs for the first time today. Didn't happen. Shout out to Carson though. Good bit of development. What do we have in the system? Still some good development, but with some people that certainly have some lower potentials. So, oh boy, we need a steal and a half here in this upcoming draft. We know we're not gonna win the lottery. We're too far back, so I won't even bother looking at who is projected to be drafted here. We just need some luck, please and thank you. As well, Salt Lake City certainly had some luck. So did Houston, and good Lord, pick number 29. Okay. Well, we'll do what we can do, and that's all we can do. God, Jake Gensel retires for the Starfleet. Kevin Fiala. We're certainly far enough into this now that a lot of real-world players are going to be looking to retire, or at least, players that you would expect to be retiring around this time, as opposed to like, hey, here's a veteran Chris Chelios or something, or like Lee Steckline is down there for Chicago, of course, being a PWHL player. Megan Keller's there too for Seattle. In terms of the goalies, Vassey's gone, Renee Dabien's gone as well, Connor Ingram, Vemelka. I mean, of course, there were a lot of Ingrams and Vemelkas, so who knows which ones those were ultimately. As Kyle Chipchura becomes a scout, as does Renee Dabien. Fair enough. Let's get down to it. My expectations are rock bottom in terms of this draft. Like, any hope of getting somebody notable just isn't there at all. But we'll take a look at the very top of the draft real quick. No franchise player, but a bunch of medium elites. Duly noted. So let's see who's out there. First and foremost, the goalies. Let's look at some of these potentials. It's a lot of best guessing, that's for sure. Defensively, oh God, I mean, Asher Pietrangelo, Arthur Marks, like, we might just have to risk it. I mean, there's not too many options here, really. Oh my God. Right wing side, Rocky Sterling could be decent. Billy Osplund, we might have to take a risk on a bit further down the order. Chad Peterson, every team needs a good Chad. And he might be ours. And then there's a low 6 gem, but I don't feel too good about that. Left wing side, we have Rudy Mayer, Grinder perhaps, and Evans. And there's a power forward and Tristan Whitney that we'll look at in a second. And a low 6, Mika Tulola. 3 years out. For the centers, nobody? Nobody. Cool. Remember when I said my expectations were like in the dirt? My God. Okay, I mean, unless we want to take a look at somebody like Gryba and hope that he's better than what our scouts think. You know, I fluked my way into a couple of good picks in the past. This is why in the first round, I always make sure to double check. That is why. Ricky Lynn's not that bad, but let's be honest, it's Gryba. 6'3", 207. There is a chance that they're a two-way. But with the strengths being offensively oriented, very good chance of being a power forward, I would say. And to look at Whitney, not Lynn. I mean, in fairness, Tristan Whitney's going to be an okay medium 6. What about Isaac Evans? I mean, there's some good options, but I feel like we did just get the steal that we needed. Frederick Dansk. Yeah, not that good. I mean, we have to risk it. Like, even if Gryba's not a player type we can use, it has to be risked. Brent Gryba of the Vancouver Giants. Yes. Yes. And that might have just led us to success. Let's go. 80 overall at 18 years old as a power forward. No abilities or anything, but that is the missing piece we needed for the top 6. Gryba could easily win Rookie of the Year for us this upcoming year. That is... Ooh, okay. Well, the pooping on Matthew Tkachuk aside, the karma appears to be back in a good spot. We needed that so badly. That is our best draft pick in years. That is the only way to put it. That is our best draft pick in years. There was a low 4 in Cade Motto. I certainly have lower expectations from now, but that is okay. Honestly, even if that is our only good pick of this draft, we got what we needed, you know? So beggars cannot be choosers. There's no way Rocky Parks actually has that. I'm not seeing anybody with any sort of potential I think could end up being decent. So let's go off of who's on the list here. For the goalies, a couple of 3 years out, Rene Delorier and Toby Maxwell. Well. Toby Maxwell, huh? Okay, right now it's Maxwell. Goalie's probably the position we need the least, though. Eichel's not bad. 19, though. And then Marks is a bit further down. I mean, we might be able to do the double of Eichel and Maxwell. I mean, it's, you got to think, it's 47 picks from now. So, I mean, you do the math, though. It's 124. It's close. Could be done. Right wing side. 4 years out, 5 years out, 3 years out for Sterling. 3 years out for Stevenson, the potential gem, and then Peterson's also 3 years out. Left wing side, potential 2 years for Yzerman. 5 years for Semin, and of course we know that there were no centers. Eichel, 3 years out at 19. What else do we have here? 3 years out at 18 for Sterling. 19, and then 18 for Peterson. I mean, I'm pretty certain that Jeffrey Stevenson's just going to be a low 6. Something about Theo Yzerman, where it is very tempting. I feel like if I don't take Stevenson, some people are going to yell at me. That's normally what people do when I don't take a low elite, is people yell at me, even though, or a gem, I should say, at a low 6, even though I feel like they always end up being terrible. I feel like Theo Yzerman's the guy. Oh, is it Theo or is it Stevenson? You know what? I'll tell you what. I'm taking Stevenson. If this doesn't work out, no one's ever allowed to yell at me again for not drafting a gem. Okay? Here we go. You know, it's not bad. I'll give you that. But low elite isn't what it used to be. I'd be pumped about this in prior years. It's a good pick for us now. 19 years old, a 68, low elite. Like, it's fine. It's a good pick. Could have been a lot worse, certainly. I mean, you look at like some of the medium 9s. Worked out decently well. Who knows? Maybe I'll have to lighten up on gems. Is our goalie still going to be there? Yes, he is. We are taking the Canadian Toby Maxwell out of Moose Jaw. Only a medium fringe. I hate it here. It's still a decent first 3 picks, though, all things considered. Let's see. Next up on our board, we're certainly not taking another goalie. We can just take somebody who's projected to go sometime soon. And then we'll get back to our board. So, Posse Rasainen, 4 years out at 17, but that potential looks abysmal. Again, we're not taking another goalie after what just happened. A confirmed medium bottom 6 is pretty bad. What about Kip Howard? 4 years out. Potential enforcer, Esteban Ackers. 5 years out at 17. What about Michael Bokanecki? Know nothing about him. Well, that whole plan of just trying to take a shot in the dark's not looking too good either. So you know what? Let's just go for it. I mean, again, it's almost a confirmed low 7th for Posse Rasainen. But screw it. Let's go for it. We don't have anybody else to take. He is a low 7th, to be expected. Want to say you can't go wrong with a Finn, but apparently that guy just proved me wrong. Let's go for another Finn, though. And Billy Osplund, who is a low 9. Good thing is the first 2 picks were really good. Top 3 overall. Pretty decent. Let's take a risk for Arthur Marks from Rimouski. Medium 7th. By the way, holy hell, the Under Armour jerseys, the templates. Oh my God, Rimouski. I hope for your sake they change them. Jesus. And then Mike Sims, a low bottom 6. Okay. Well, hey, we did get the steal that we needed, right? We were likely to never get great depth, but Greiba and Stevenson back to back. And I didn't even check to see how good the other guy was because I don't want to know. I have no desire to know how good or bad he might have been. But we did get that steal of a player that we really needed to try and make things happen. So obviously, we got some players to re-sign. We got some things to do. We're not going to have room for Maxwell here anyway. So $22 million qualifying offer for Buckley. Love to see that. Thank God the cap doesn't matter. Deno, our first goalie drafted, right? One of them. Good old Louis Antoine Deno. At least he's gigantic. I mean, we can bring him back for another year. We don't have to, but we can. Harenstam, we'll just sign him to what he wants. He apparently doesn't want anything, so welcome back. Defensively, Wotherspoon. He's going to want a little bit, and he immediately accepts. Let's get all of those qualifying offers in, even if it's for some of the dudes that aren't particularly good. We do have the roster space. Bertram, you're terrible. Yeah, former seventh rounder. Won't even bother signing you. We'll keep. Was Johnston the right player type? He was. We'll just keep Michael Johnston around. Why not? Siemens. Not that good. Sorry, you're out of here. And then a couple of sevens. Not great. Right wing side. Mr. Pugh gets another qualifying offer. Stevenson played for Kingston. We'll leave him be. Leave the rest of the guys be too. Left wing. Let's just qualify a bunch of these dudes. Especially these guys here. Try to keep the AHL decent. Saprikin we can let go of. But we'll keep LaBelle for one more year. Saprikin, 4th rounder in 2027. How many NHL games did he have? Almost 300. I mean, hey, you got to play in the NHL. So there you go. Ben DeHaan. Kelvin Ben DeHaan, 4th rounder 2 years ago. He's not good. I'm not even going to bother. And then for the centers, and that's the big news. Gryba might finally be our actual legit natural center. Colborne we'll keep. He's a 75. No reason not to try to keep him. Medium 9, Sweeney. Might as well hold on to you. Might as well. And then for show doesn't need to be signed. So that was pretty straightforward. Obviously, we'll see what the RFAs sign for. We'll get this team set up and ready to go. And I do have a hunch. Next year is going to be our first year of making the playoffs. Like, we were so close this year. No denying the roster is going to be better for next year. I think we're going to make it. Could be wrong, though.